Good morning. I'm Monica LaFleur with Defenders of Wildlife. Thank you for the opportunity to offer some preliminary thoughts on the sea level rise action plan for California. Defenders is excited to see a coordinated statewide plan for preparing the California coast for sea level rise. We agree with the plan's stated need for interagency, tribal, NGO, and local government collaboration, and appreciate the emphasis placed on prioritizing partnerships as we work together to tackle one of the most pressing climate change impacts facing California. We'd like to echo the plan's emphasis on the importance of an equitable approach to sea level rise planning that centers environmental and social justice priorities and elevates tribal governments in all decision-making processes. Where we see the plan fall short is in emphasizing the immense impact that sea level rise will have on coastal species, particularly those that are already imperiled due to other anthropogenic stressors. Although we appreciate the acknowledgement that additional science is needed to evaluate the risks that sea level rise poses to biodiversity and coastal habitats, we believe that the effect sea level rise will have on coastal species is great enough that developing an inventory of how sea level rise will affect these vulnerable species warrants its own key action under Principle 1. Defenders would also like to see the call to action describe projections for how loss of beaches and coastal zones under predicted sea level rise scenarios would impact wildlife. While the devastating effect that sea level rise will have on human populations cannot be overstated, it is important that coastal ecosystems and biodiversity be included in framing the issue of sea level rise as well. An important way to ensure that our precious coastal species are not left behind as we plan to build statewide coastal resilience is by requiring that sea level rise adaptation plans include specific plans for local wildlife adaptation. Without active planning for species migration and adaptation as habitat areas are lost to rising seas, Defenders is concerned that preventable losses of local bird, invertebrate, and even mammal populations will occur. My mind jumps to the sea lions at La Jolla Point that were discussed this morning. We also hope that the sea level rise action plan will more firmly oppose new great infrastructure beyond just encouraging nature-based solutions. Finally, we would like to express a lot of gratitude to the many agencies involved in creating such an important statewide strategy for preparing for sea level rise, and we look forward to continuing the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. I have two people with their hands raised. If you are Mandy Sackett or Kristen Northrup, please unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your testimony.
Hi, Mandy Sackett's here. I'm happy to go.
Thank you, Mandy. Go ahead.
Hi, Mandy Sackett on behalf of Surfrider Foundation and the California Coastal Protection Network. Thank you to Executive Director Ainsworth for mentioning the statewide sea level rise action plan in your report. We really greatly appreciate OPC, the leadership team, and Coastal Commission staff, and all the agencies that were involved in developing this plan. It's a 5-year action plan, and it's really also frankly overdue. We can't be successful in preparing our coast from sea level rise and climate hazards without a coordinated effort. I've attended most Coastal Commission meetings on behalf of Surfrider since 2015, and I can say it often feels like the commission, sort of the Coastal Commission against the world when it comes to protecting our natural coastal resources from sea level rise, and just really heartened to see this coordinated multi-agency plan that will help divide the responsibility when it comes to managing this great challenge of coastal resiliency. And it's also really exciting that Senator Atkins' funding package, SB1, will enable a lot of these actions already, and many of which we've wanted to undertake for some time. And so just a few key points to add, hopefully, to the conversation about the action plan as it is finalized over the coming months. I think Principle 7, which is about environmental justice and tribal consultation, really should be first. The first principle: we're not the original stewards of the coastline. Property along our coast has in the modern day historically been reserved for California's wealthiest homeowners, and the commission's work to protect the coast needs to center equity and social concerns and grant authority to tribal communities throughout the decision-making process. And this document also sets a goal to find pathways towards 3.5 feet of sea level rise by 2050 and 6 by 2100. Those are realistic planning targets and give us a chance to prepare for sea level rise in advance so that we can take advantage of effective and affordable options to save our beaches and our waves and habitats. While there's still some time, overall, we do think more emphasis should put on protecting natural habitats for marine and coastal species. Several action items in the plan will help advance nature-based adaptation solutions. United Nations Environment Program just came out this week with a deep dive on coastal infrastructure report, and it spells out some of the economic need for banks, the most risk-averse group, to actually invest in natural infrastructure. Saving nature with nature is really the only truly affordable and effective way to be resilient for climate change hazards. So we're just excited to see these tools, especially there was a tool mentioned for being able to track mean high tide line better, developing that technology. So we're happy to see emphasis also on that, and planning for state parks, the largest land manager on our coast, to develop and implement adaptation projects, really moving towards the implementation phase. So look forward again to moving this action plan forward. Thanks for all the good work.
Thank you, Mandy. Next, I have Kristen Northrup. Kristen, if you are in the meeting, please unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Kristen Northrup. I'm here on behalf of the Coastal Environmental Rights Foundation as policy advocate. SURF was founded by surfers for the protection and enhancement of California's coastal resources. Thank you to the Ocean Protection Council, Coastal Commission staff, and the leadership team for developing this action plan. We appreciate the collaborative effort and the intra-agency coordination. Aligning state agencies is an important and overdue first step towards preparing for the most important pressing climate change impacts in California. As a state agency plan, local and tribal governments were not included in the creation of the plan. We encourage robust consultation and integration of tribal governments' recommendations for the final draft. The Commission's work to protect the coast needs to center equity and social justice priorities, as well as grant authority to tribal communities throughout the decision-making processes. The plan lays out 80 action items with measurable outcomes for the next 5 years. This document will help the public hold agencies accountable for these commitments and help us identify where gaps are in funding and where we need more work to be done. We have an unprecedented opportunity to move these actions forward thanks to funding from SB 1, thanks to Senator Atkins' funding package. We especially appreciate the action items that will inventory and inform us of nature-based adaptation opportunities along the coast. It would be great for state agencies to make firm commitment to avoid all shoreline armoring, which will only serve to drown our beaches, waves, coastal access opportunities, and sensitive habitats by fixing the back of the beach. We have to start implementing resiliency projects now so we can adapt and learn from them as sea level rise. We should proactively identify opportunities for managed retreat where we can relocate structures out of harm's way. We are pleased to see the action item to improve mean high tide line tracking technology, a very important first step in protecting public trust resources. We support the goal stated in the action plan for 3.5 feet of sea level rise by 2050 and 6 feet of sea level rise by 2100. These targets give us a chance to prepare for sea level rise in advance so that we can take advantage of effective and affordable options to save all of our amazing coasts have to offer while there's still some time. We look forward to commenting in more detail and supporting the state in implementing the action plan. Thank you very much.